Hello and welcome everybody. So today I have the honor to welcome you to the 5th meetup series. We have today the talk of Matthias Rosenberger, and I have the honor to welcome him. So hi Matthias, maybe you say hello to everybody.
Hello.
And we are very happy to have you here. Matthias is an expert in laboratory grid technology or methodology. He has been working with laboratory grid, I think, more than 25 years or so. Above all, as far as I know, he is especially interested in eliciting and analyzing not only what one person thinks, but more how a group of people thinks about certain aspects of life. And he tries in that respect to develop software further and to develop also the procedure of how to interview further. And so from his background, he is a psychologist with a PhD in economy, which he did at the Technical University of Chemnitz, which is my hometown. And therefore, we know already quite a long time. So now he is he is founder and CEO in his own company, and he is doing laboratory grid studies and developing software and analyzing grid data. Nevertheless, he has always been in a good connection to universities and to science. So I would say in his heart, he is still a scientist, not only for his own life, but also for really to understand things in the world. And currently he leads a project, a research project together with the University of Leipzig on artificial intelligence, and he will give us a certain look into the project and what he is doing and what he tries to develop concerning using laboratory grids in an online setting, and really to show you how to analyze data. Yes, and in the following half an hour around, so 20 minutes, half an hour, he will give his talk on dialogue systems for laboratory grid online interviews, and afterwards we will be in breakout rooms, and we will be allowed to test his online version of online interviewing via laboratory grids. And he has prepared quite a funny example on that. So I think we will be in good mood afterwards. So thank you, Matthias, for being here, and the stage is yours.
Thanks a lot, Jeanette. Thanks a lot, Harry, for inviting me, all the others inviting me to do this here. I will start my presentation now. Maybe it's the best I start the whole screen so you can see the screen here. When I do not know, can we go through the slides like this? Maybe it's the best choice to do this.
We can see your slides and they look good. You could do it either this way or through the slide show. Your choice. Then
I go to the slideshow. That's the best because there are some 3 or 5 animations. And okay. Can you see that?
Not yet.
Almost.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Going through the slides, just 2 slides to my company. We make brand, organization, and value. We have I'm own managed. Our goal is to increase brands and optimize customer journeys. And we make strategy, consulting. We believe in the social resonance model. I believe in Kelly also, which is a good theory behind. And we use our own software solutions, and we have a lot of customers worldwide. So the agenda is I will talk a bit about the backbone of my view, the resonance view, and exploring the artificial intelligence interview module of the RapGrid software, and something about the future from RapGrid to RapBid. Okay, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate and feel free to ask them immediately. Okay, and please be patient with my English. I'm not a native speaker, but I try to do my best. So, can you remember the day of your birth? Before the birth, in the warmth, the fetus is doing I think he's doing very comfortable. Everything is fine. There's a way, there's always enough food. He can swim in a warm liquid. It's very comfortable. But in the moment of birth, suddenly happens something. It is not so nice. It is loud. It is uncomfortable. There's no food. And what every man is doing is crying. It's always the same. For me, here is the very detailed moment of the dichotomy of construct systems. Because if we see the neural network on the date of birth, there are low connections between the given neurons, and they grow, not the neurons grow, the connections between the neurons grow until 2 years a lot, from in form of unmanageable connections of neural connections. What does it mean for us? We all have our own view to the world. I saw that here before the construction corollary says we anticipate future events according to our interpretations of recurrent themes. So what we are doing is we create our own view to the world. What does it mean exactly? Can you remember, this is a real question to the audience, can you remember, or what do you think, how long does it take to learn reading and writing? What do you think? Just one answer is enough. It's a real question to the audience.
4 years.
4 years, yeah? 6 years, yeah. If you can really read and write. And what happens when you can read and write? You are not able, no more able to not read. You cannot not reading this. It's in the consequence, the Thomas theorem coming from the grounded theory, if man defines situation as real, they are real in their consequences. Kelly said the same in this individuality corollary. People have different experiences and therefore construe events in a different way. What does that mean? When we want to aggregate views, so for analyze and recommendation with the RapGrid, then we have a big competitor at the moment, is the big data developments at the moment. But I see some problems here. I see the echo chamber effect. I see misinterpretation from a lot of data, inaccuracy of data, manipulation of data, data hygienics. There are a lot of problems with the big data. And what I see is when I take Kelly's by the word, then I see the sociality corollary. We are able to communicate with others because we can construe their own constructions. We not only observe the behavior of others, but we also interpret what behavior means to them. We have two different levels, the subliminal and the perceptible level. Look at the people. On the lower level, we have high individual drivers, the individual motives to doing something. It's on the subliminal level. The next level is between people arise something like resonance fields. So they do discussions, there are remote emotional resonances. The next level is the pattern of the resonance between the people. I call that something like groupthink. You can read it in the literature. It's also subliminal, and the next one is the group belief. What we see is the group behavior. This is perceptible. Here works big data question as opinion mining. The subliminal level is our RapGrid or rapid grid level. I can show you an example how I interpret this. Just a second. I have it here. No, here's here. If you have an individual staying here and it communicates with a group of people with different colors, something like that. And this group is also communicating with the other group, but this other group is also communicating with the individual. If you have a lot of communication streams, it is a complex world of discussing, describing, thinking of things. And the elements are the knots between the communication channels. We have negative things, we have ideal things, we have the maybe online service today or something else. If we look at only 3 elements, we can choose, or we can have a look of what the people think about 3 elements here and put them into groups. This is what I work on at the moment. Coming back to the slides from the model of group motives, I go a step ahead. What I mean is it is all resonance between subjects. We have resonance fields around us and we produce echoes like clicks, buys or likes or like questionnaires where you make a tick or a cross to something. And we have the real resonance. It's really listening, it's really watching, it's a real interaction between people. That's what I mean with resonance. Coming from Rosa and Mühlhoff, from a German philosophist. I have another model with which explains more detail. The theory of corporate modeling comes from Arne Reitel from 1998. I think it's very, it fits to Kelly's commonality corollary to the extent that we have had experience similar to others. Our personal constructs tend to be similar to the construction systems of those people. You see 2 subjects on the top of the slide. There's a mimetic alignment. There's also a discursive alignment about a set of elements. And everybody is selecting, regulating something like that, their own constructs. I use this model very often to explain what we do with the RapGrid. And I say to the next step coming, if you want to understand people, it's better to measure twice than to saw once. It's also the same with IKEA furniture. You know what I mean. Okay, I'm the only one who's laughing, but yesterday I had a new furniture.
We're muted, we're laughing. We're laughing, but we're muted.
Thank you, I cannot see you. Okay. What is the previous procedure we used in our old RapGrid interview in the past, the last 10 years for something? I will show you an example. We do the face-to-face interviews in 3 steps. The first was the association. In the first step, 3 elements, brands, products are compared. The interviewee decides which 2 elements are similar from his point of view, in contrast to the third. Okay, maybe he chooses Samsung and Sony. Then he has to designate his choice. In the next step, the respondent characterizes the similarity of 2 selected elements in his own words. Then the opposite of this characterization is given. We call it justification. At the end, we have developed a tetralemma field. It's a special scaling method with 2 poles. In the third step, the respondent evaluates all elements based on their personal differentiation, something like rating or voting. In the new way of interviewing, we go a step forward. What I have in my pocket for you today is a set of elements from the Disney World. Do you know the Beagle Boys? Somebody of you. Have you ever read about them or saw them in a journal or in a paper?
No.
No.
Don't know
Can you
this.
describe them? What is the character of a Beagle Boy? What do you think? What is a typical Beagle Boy?
Gangster. From
Please?
Gina,
Yeah.
did you say something? Say again.
What we all do is we have some constructs in your head, and it is hard to express them when a comparing element is missing. You can compare Beagle Boys maybe with Goofy. And you can compare Beagle Boys with Daisy Duck or with Scrooge. Or this is Tick, Trick and Track. I never heard this expression before because I'm German. I grow up with Tick, Trick and Track. But in English it is Huey, Dewey and Louie. Is that right?
yeah, Louis.
That's right.
And in another language, like, let me say, maybe Sweden there, I don't know, but maybe another language. Can you give us an example from another language? Maybe Turkish or
Arabic?
Arabian? Yeah, yes, please.
Ahmed.
Well, that's short.
You want it in Spanish?
Yes, please.
Juanito, Jorgito y Jaimito.
That's nice. That's nice. Really, I like it. Is there another language?
Yes, Serbia. Jelena, say it.
Okay, what is the example? How do they call them?
So it's Raya, Gaia, and Blaya. It's funny again.
Wow. Never heard of it. Maybe one more language. Oh, I don't know. I think in Swedish is very funny. Yeah. Okay, go further. We have a lot of elements here. We have Donald Duck. We have Gladstone Gender, I think. Gearloose and Magica Dispel and Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. This is the set of elements for our example today. What I'd like to do with you now, instead of an outbreak room, you know, from the sessions before, is to invite you to interview with the artificial intelligence behind. Let me show you how it works. You can use your mobile phone, or you can use the short URL we can give you, or Janet can give you via the chat. If after clicking on this participate now,
Where's Matthias?
It's probably the internet connection.
Probably get it back soon. So what's going to happen is that Yelena has given you all in the chat a link, and Matthias is going to ask us to press that link and either use and what you'll do when you get that link is that you'll get one of those, what are they called? What are those things called? URL
readers.
QR code?
QR code.
QR.
If you have a mobile phone that you could activate that code, you can do that. If not, simply press where it says participate now, and it will go into you'll get a website, and then you put in any name, put in your name or any name, it doesn't really matter, and then the instructions should be pretty clear. Then you go through the instructions, and you do the task, and Matthias is coming back, and then he'll tell you what else to do. You could do the task, and then when you're done with the task, it'll all get processed automatically back to Matthias.
I saw that a lot of interviews has been done here. I see that a couple of minutes ago, this one, and I see a couple of interviews were finished. A question before to the audience: are you okay with the interview?
What do you mean? Like, did we find it convenient, comfortable, etc.?
Yeah, for only a short, yeah, something like that. Was it okay?
Yeah.
I think it was fun. Yeah.
Friendly.
Thank you. It was fun. I hear that. That's nice, because we wanted to put a bit gamification into the interviewing process, because not only our developer, but from my perspective, when I'm a participant of a questionnaire or something, I love to be a bit entertained, to be entertained. Okay, let us check the results. Here are all the interviews. Some of you did put your real name in it, which is okay. And I go back to the project and maybe show you what the results are, or show you the results. I put something like Demo Disney here inside of the tool as an analysis, a new analysis. And we have 18 interviews included this project. What does it mean? That means that we have the mean of each element inside of a three-dimensional room, which is located, here are all the Disney figures are located in a distance from their characterization by your constructs. Your constructs, 138 constructs are in the room, are shown when I put the slider here, and you will see all what you said. Amazing. So here's older, serial, solitary, sidekick. Oh, two people said the same thing. And on the other side is intelligence, poor but friendly, lazy, creative. And you see all the constructs. And this is the construed world of Disney by people, by you, not from Disney.
That's very impressive.
How did you get that display, Matthias? Can you say a little bit more, please?
I'd like to invite Mark to explain it, because he's very much better in explaining the mathematical background, but I try to do my best. It is a iterative algorithm coming from Procrustes analysis of all the matrices we have behind the interviews. Every interview has each one. Let me check it here. Here, maybe I can show you here the results. Every interview has its own numbers, the scores. For Goofy, you see, this is maybe from Sarah. I don't know. From Goofy, she gave him a score of -74 and so on. We have at the end a matrix of each interview, and we put them together and rotate them in a specific way and put the three dimensions, the principal components, here in this room. The principal components are derivatives of each dimension from two poles from the tetralemma field.
Okay, now a score on what? You gave an example of an element which had a score of 74. What is it was a score on?
It's not easy to explain. 74 is the term coming from the tetralemma field, which goes from 0 to 100. It's percentage. Therefore,
is it some function of all of the person's constructs. In other words, some function of the position of the element of all of the person's constructs.
Yeah, I can show you. I can show you here Dagobert, for instance. When I click on Dagobert and I click on experts, you see all the experts in the room. You see your own name here. This is your point in the room from Debbie. Here's Peter Gooch. Here's Gilliam. Matthias Rosenberger is, outside of the, no, not really, but we have here the spread of all the people in the room on Dagobert. We can do the same with Donald. Maybe we can have a look on Donald's spread. If we are interested, what is the number of the spread, then we have to go back to Disney World, to the analysis, to the statistical tool. And we can see also the spread as numbers. You see the spread as a picture, and we have also the spread as a number here, something here. You can see the spreads here from the room. But the spreads here are more, for me, I like the spread to see here the different people in the room where they are lying and what kind of opinion they have to Donald.
Mm.
So therefore, all the dots, so Dagobert and Mini and all the dots here are only the mean of all the people in the room. And if you want to know what the people said, maybe to Mini is here, yeah, right? And then I can do the semantic corridor, something like that, and you will see all the constructs the people said to Mini here. The better way is to make something like a word cloud, and you can maybe look for the enclosed construct for maybe Daisy. We take Daisy. Let us see what the people said, what they think, what the characteristic of Daisy Duck is. Then there are 22 constructs coming from the people, from the tetralemma field, who are very close to Daisy. So this should be.
That's nice to have this variety of visualization, I think.
Yeah, sometimes we play with it. You know, some customers need a simple picture to understand what we are doing, because all the people I work with are not experts in RepGrid. So therefore, for me, it's always difficult to explain results without explaining all the repertory grid and the theory of George R. Kelly every time, which is time consuming. Therefore, I need some pictures that they understand it very quickly. Coming back to the room, what we also can do, and that is very nice feature, I think so. So if we think about features, then we make cluster analysis and look for the main clusters in the room, and maybe I think we can put 10, and then we see in the room the main issues of the people. It's inventive, exact, everybody is smart, future oriented. These are the main clusters of the room. Only an example. Okay, that's for me. It's enough for explaining the room. What I wanted to say, this is a 3D space, and I come to the end of my presentation and going to the questions. Maybe you like the 3D graphic. My question is, do you like the artificial-based interview model? Because the smiley, maybe you saw the smiley in the interview, which is coming from the database, who's checking your constructs. You put some construct into the field, and the smiley checks if it is enough, if it is a real construct based on four descriptions of constructs. We want to develop it further, and we see in the future maybe totally autonomous interviews. I hope so in the future. Yeah, that is what I do. That's all from me.
Excuse me, Professor, may I ask a question?
Please do.
Please.
Yes. So I just wanted to clarify something very quickly about the algorithm. So as I understand your description of it, you're using 3 different analyses, K nearest neighbors, association rules, and a cluster analysis. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's right. But K means it is, yeah, yes, it is right. Where did you get the information? It's from my paper, maybe, right?
No, I used to work for Cisco.
Okay. We use other methods and not only k-means. We have a neural network behind, and we are at the moment testing the BERT system and some other things. But if you are interested, Janet, maybe we can send you the paper how we work. So it's a first draft of a paper how we work. And if you like, I really like to discuss what kind of possibilities are available to make it better. Mm-hmm.
So we will put your paper, Matthias, on the website again. So together with the video.
Okay, yeah. That's okay. Yeah.
Ulana had raised your
Yes.
your hand.
During our conversation in our break, one thing that I brought up was how can this be localized from a linguistic point of view? For example, in my doctoral work, I have to work with Ukrainian teachers. So if I'm going to conduct everything in Ukrainian, am I able to localize it through this application?
There are 2 really big challenges you mentioned. On the one hand is the linguistic semantic thing. We have at the moment trained data coming from our own collected constructs about a database from 1,500 selected constructs. And what we have in the future, what we want to work on in the future is to collect more and more constructs, but you need at the moment a human who how can I say, who can somebody help me? Janet maybe or somebody. We need a human who is testing the construct, the new ones, and let them say it's okay or not okay. So we produce a bigger database from time to time. The linguistic part is the human who tests the construct from our side. That's all what we have at the moment. There's no possibility from the computer's side. I have a guy here from Max Planck Institute, and I discuss it very often. There's at the moment no possibility on this one, and also a big issue is the language.
Yeah.
On the first point, Matthias, I think it's very interesting that you say you need a human to interpret if it's a proper construct or not, because I mean, in a sense, that's what we do when we do face-to-face grid elicitation. As the interviewer, we're saying, well, look, sorry, I can't scale that because you've got a forked construct or a bent construct there. We may not say that to the individual, but we help them articulate the construct. So according to our rules, it is, you know, a true contrast. I'd be very interested in how your work progresses in specifying the rules that we're using so that you can, if you decide to go in that direction, automate that process of getting the system to apply the rules. Now, yeah, I'm not so sure that it's possible, but I wish you every success.
What you say, Davey, is so right, because the rapid, so the interview, the AI interview is not a replacement for the face-to-face interview. That's never, because the face-to-face interviews are much more deeper because you have a communication, it's more resonance, what I wanted to say for that. But for bigger studies where you need maybe 150, 200 people for interviews, it is a cost-consuming thing to make 1 hour or 1.5 hour face-to-face interview. Therefore, I looked for a solution to have a very close module to collect a lot of data. Maybe they are not so deep or not so in the quality not so high, but they are enough to make a room and to check how the people think about maybe Gustav or maybe Donald Duck. But if you ask me, every time I would prefer to use face-to-face interviews. So therefore it's not a replacement, it's more a substitute, something like that.
Are there any other areas of this that people would like to ask questions about or discuss?
Yeah.
Can I ask something?
Far ahead.
Yeah. Do you get also numerical results, like statistical numerical results, or is it only like these pictures?
No, we have. Can you see my screen now?
Yes. Yes.
I have here the variance. For instance, we have so-called fulfillment degrees. So it's a distance number. You see the distances between the elements. You can also see the distance from each element to each element, from Daisy to Beagle Boys. You can choose what kind of, you see the Beagle Boys on the top and Minnie Mouse, and you see all the distances from all elements to the chosen elements here. And and we have something like a potential matrix. I work on specific scorecards with the numbers behind for relevance or for difference between elements, for instance. This is only a content base. So these are constructs with high relevance or low relevance or high difference between Minnie Mouse and all other elements. I can choose it here. But I work also on a scorecard for that, but it's not finished.
Thank you.
Ian, did you have a question? I'm wondering how this program compares to your GridCore package, which seems to be able to do somewhat similar things. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. At the end, it is very close to that, but it's a real new one. But it's very close. We never change a running system, so we were very comfortable with the most features and functions. But as you know me, I'm never satisfied. I always look how to make it better, to make new. Yeah, I'm a scientist in my heart, so therefore I look for to make it better and better. But it's not so easy to develop things. But what can I say? In Corona times, it's much more not easy. It's much more difficult. But we try to do our best.
Matthias,
did you want to?
I had a question.
Yeah.
It's what is the role of artificial intelligence in all this procedure?